everyone. I'm sitting here today with Hope White, broker of Hope White, the real estate company, and Ian Kovac, broker associate of Hope White, the real estate company. And today we're talking about using a realtor versus doing a for sale by owner. Hope, do you have some opening remarks on whether people should use a realtor or whether they should try to sell their home on their own?
Sure. I would think that the predictive information would be how many times have they sold a home themselves before. Your experience in doing that counts for a lot. If you have moved, as many people in Colorado Springs have because of Fort Carson or Air Force Academy and such, and have purchased a home everywhere that you've been posted, then I can understand you're wanting to do a home sale on your own. However, if you have not done that and you're simply trying to save money, trying to save that commission, that whatever the market is calling for in a commission, that is not a good reason, because typically you're going to spend that later on in court fees, very possibly. There are so many contingencies in a contract that are the responsibility of the seller. And if you do not comply, furnish the information, or provide things timely that are called for, then worst case scenario, you lose the buyer. Otherwise, for example, if something isn't disclosed properly during the course of a purchase, you could end up being on the hook for an inspection item years and years and years down the way. I heard a horror story about that the other day. So, true stories.
Ian, do you have anything to add?
When you take for sale by owner as a general, like she said, if you've done it a lot, you kind of know what to do, but there's a lot of dates and deadlines in a contract that has to be met. And if you have another full-time job and you're trying to sell your house, it can be hard to meet those dates and deadlines by the time specified, and then you lose that deal or you end up getting sued. There's a lot of items just in a Colorado real estate contract that can require you to go to an attorney in a court if something doesn't go right. So you're having the realtor sort of as a legal guide to keep you within the bumpers so this deal actually gets done instead of ending up in real estate court.
Right. And frequently, it's always a good idea to talk to an attorney. There are many times where we as realtors cannot give legal advice. We are privileged in the state of Colorado to be able to fill out a form based on how you want to proceed in a purchase or a sale. So attorneys frequently are very important to have in a deal. And you do want to have a good guide to get a contract done.
So what would you say are the main pain points for what we call FSBOs, the for sale by owners? People who want to sell their home on their own, what are some of the main pain points and the main challenges that they run into?
I think the first thing that they go through is they are trying to get typically over market. I haven't seen them always even try to get market rate for their home. They're always asking a much higher price for their home. The fallacy, number one, is they don't have accurate data. If they do, they have an emotional tie to their home, which makes them not be reasonable about the price. And number three, they're thinking that they can collect the money themselves rather than pay a commission. Whereas a buyer in the market is going to know that on a for sale by owner they're not paying commission and are expecting that price to be reduced by that amount. So those are the first things I see as an issue for sale by owner seller.
Another one of the big issues is location of the property. If you're out in the middle of nowhere and all you have is a sign out by the fence on County Road 379, there's not going to be a lot of people looking at your for sale by owner, and you're going to have to spend a lot of money on ads yourself on Zillow and Realtor.com, places like that, just to post your house so people look at it. So if you're on a busy street in the middle of the city, you have a lot better chance of getting a buyer just by looking at your sign than if you live in the country. So location has a lot to do with it, price of the property, you know, market values. It's all pretty complicated stuff. So if you don't keep up with the real estate market, I would not suggest doing it for sale by owner, because at that point you're guessing in a market and in a business that you can't guess at.
Right, and what we've discussed in a previous video was that Zillow and Trulia cannot be trusted. The MLS, our MLS, our local, this local MLS, whatever local MLS you have, is accurate for sales and pendings and under contract properties, not just active. When I do a market analysis, actives are taken into consideration, but not as much as the solds. We've got to realize that appraisers have to use a timetable. They can only go back a certain amount of time for solds. And the sold data is extremely important. And that is just not easily found always. I'm not saying it's impossible. You can do your homework. You can go to the clerk and recorder. You can go to the assessor's website. You can look things up and find it yourself. It's just not always easy. And for realtors, when we sit down at our desks to do a market analysis, we have that information available right now.
Yeah, typically if you're on the MLS, you can see all the past sales for that house dating back usually pretty close to when it was built. If there's a house that was for sale after like about 1990, when computers really started getting into the game, all of that information is readily available in a couple of clicks to a realtor.
Right.
So the CMA, or comparative market analysis, that a realtor gives you is going to be a lot more accurate than going off of by something like Zillow and Trulia. A little example is I was looking at a house that was completely burnt out that was on Zillow, and Zillow was recommending that you sell it for $230,000 because in their algorithm they don't have a place where you can put the house is destroyed.
Right. They don't have an algorithm for condition.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, with a burned out house like that, you're paying for the land, utilities, hookups, and the foundation. Because chances are you're going to plow it or end up having to completely remodel everything. So, you know, you're not going to get any money for it. It's like a broken car.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Hope. Thank you so much, Ian, for your time today. Please feel free to join us next time when we talk about why a home doesn't sell and how to reduce time on market. If you want to learn more about Hope White, the real estate company, just go to www.hopesellscoloradosprings.com, and please remember to like, share, and comment on this video. Thank you.
Thank you.